with the Detroit versus everybody thing, right? I understand that it's a dope man city and everything that you just stated is actual factual. We can't deny that, right? But the Detroit versus everybody idea, is that an evolutionary term that you believe that we can get to one day?
No, we'll never get that, because you know the biggest enemy, guess who that is? Niggas. Niggas' worst enemy ain't no white motherfucker. It ain't no Jew. It ain't no Italians are white. It ain't no motherfucking Vietnamese motherfucker. It ain't no Chinese motherfucker. In this country that we live in now, when you go outside, you see Chinese motherfucker, you scared? You clutching your bag? No, you go out and you see a person of Jewish faith from the Hasidic order. When you see that, are you clutching they gonna strike, you're gonna jump in the striker and slide down on you and shoot you with a switch? No, man. Our biggest enemies are people who look just like us. So I'm not fooled or tricked into believing that it's not. And so when niggas talk about Detroit, you say, is it an evolutionary term? I heard you, bro. Evolutionary. Listen, the term Detroit versus everybody, it can only be true when the people who are playing the game, when the people who are in positions of power, influence, right? When they take that on and make it a real thing. Detroit versus everybody is a scam, my nigga. Listen, when the niggas say Detroit versus everybody, I'm looking for the scam. Let me have my wallet. You know what I'm saying? Because that ain't nothing but that's scammer talk. That's a t-shirt. That's a slogan for a t-shirt. Now, are we supposed to stick together? The whole stick together shit ain't come from no rap shit. People are attributing that shit to Trick. And I want to salute Trick. Because Trick is, to me, when you look at motherfuckers who are from the old generation, the one previous to the one I have right now, right? I think that the respect that Trick and the whole Goon Squad put down in terms of when you come here, you have to pay some order of respect to us. You're not going to come here as an artist in the world of entertainment and just take from us without putting something back. I respect that. And he'll forever have my respect, right? But see, it's a lot of shit that ain't being talked about around here. Trick and them Goon Squad niggas put belt to ass to a lot of motherfuckers, right? They want to have it, right? Because the so-called OG niggas, they don't want to talk about how them Goon Squad niggas was kicking their goddamn ass up at All Stars. They don't want to talk about at what they call it, Elysium and Plan B and all the waterfalls and all the strip clubs. They don't want to talk about a lot of niggas that these niggas consider OGs in the hip hop game. A lot of these niggas got their ass stumped by Trick. Trick is on some Dr. Mathis shit. So of course he's not gonna propagate that shit. But a lot of the motherfuckers that the young guys in this generation look up to as OGs, them niggas was trying to call the fucking police on Trick, bro. Them niggas was trying to sick law enforcement on them niggas. Them niggas is not OGs in the real sense of the term. So when you say Detroit versus everybody, man, if they don't get the fuck out of here with that bull, it's a scam. And I'm standing on that. Ain't none of that shit real. Niggas use that shit when they trying to trick you. It's like 3-card Molly, sleight of hand, pickpocket type shit. Detroit versus everybody. And then while a nigga picking your pocket with this hand right here. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Okay. All right. So the interview. You do the interview.
Prior to me doing the interview, I had a conversation with Jesse James. I talked to Jesse James for 2 hours and 45 minutes, for the better part of 3 hours prior to pressing play, right? I didn't pay Jesse James a motherfucking penny for that interview. Not one. He expressed his interest. He said, hit your hip, be cash up ready. You know how they be. I'm gonna do the interview. I ain't paying nothing. I said, bro, I don't pay for interviews. I get paid to be interviewed, right? I get paid to be interviewed about all things Dawgface. And I charge people to interview them on my thing, right? So I ain't paying you shit. But what I will do is, I'll do one thing better for you. I'll executive produce a podcast for you, right? The initial name was going to be the Streetlordz Jesse James podcast, right? Or the Streetlordz podcast featuring Jesse James, right? I changed it up. When I brainstorming, I said, we're going to call this the Wild Wild West, a play of words on his Wild Wild West Jesse James name. The Wild Wild West podcast featuring Jesse James.
Which I thought would have been a dope
idea,
just for historical purposes and just to, you know.
Right, because you have a lot of people who are who are in the twilight years of their career, right? Who are going into the world of podcasting since the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse James is a historical figure in the street and in the rap game in the city of Detroit, both east to west. You know what I'm saying? So I thought it'd be a dope idea, and I thought it would garner some attention and it would gain some attraction. And then he could use that as a source of income for himself. He could interview people, you know what I'm saying? And it was gonna go crazy really fast because of who he is. He has stories. Just the mere thought of him saying anything that would be insight into what happened would go crazy. And he knows people all across the country. You know what I'm saying? So I thought it'd be a dope idea. So that was a trade-off. Me executive producing a podcast for him giving me an interview. And what people don't know is, you niggas in Detroit, you niggas are so ungrateful, right? Y'all need to be happy that I did the interview. Because in my interview, he didn't say who killed who. He didn't say who shot who. He didn't say none of that shit. We had a 3 hour, it was a 2 hours and 48 minutes exactly conversation before I press play. If I wouldn't get that, listen, just imagine if I wouldn't get the story. These niggas ain't thinking, bro. Because these niggas all being led by what somebody else who's trying to control the fucking narrative is telling them the positions they've taken is a position of another human being who wants to control the minds and wants to control the narrative. Speaking of gaslighting, ass niggas, these niggas they've been gaslighting way for Donald Trump, right? They want to control the narrative. Just imagine if somebody else, like a Vlad TV, would have put Jesse James in front of him, like we doing right now. Vlad TV wouldn't have applied a break. He wouldn't have pushed the brake on that shit. He would have let Jesse James tell it all. You niggas ought to be happy I got to interview my nigga. You ought to be happy that I have some information about what it would mean if he were to say who shot this nigga, who backdoored that nigga, who did this and who did that. Nigga, I'm a street nigga. I know what that shit look like, what it sound like. Ain't no motherfucking statute of limitations on no motherfucker.
So with that being said, to clear the air for that, like you don't have any regrets on, maybe questioning or anything. Like overall, how do you feel like your interview with Jesse James went, and then where did things go left to where you got involved?
Well, let me just say this, bro. I had a 3 hour, let's say 3 hours. It was 2:48. I looked at my phone. FaceTime conversation with Jesse before I pressed record, right? Jesse was willing to go nuclear. And everything that he listed that he said he wanted to talk about, he was willing to talk about it to a lesser or greater extent, degree. He's willing to kind of like give details because he said it. And he knew it'd be false advertising if somebody was to pay him or work out some type of barter with him, right? It wouldn't be him upholding his end of the bargain if he didn't touch on all the things that he listed. Yeah. Because the only reason why we were interested in talking to you, nigga, is because of the shit you just said, right? So I had a meeting with him. In the meeting I had with him prior to me pressing record, bro, we talked about everything. The who backdoor, who did this, that, and third. He told me everything. He told me who did what, who shot who played who's bitch, who's to now, who didn't go to, who got picked up for first. These are all, he told me all that shit, right? And I said to him, I didn't do what you did at the beginning of this motherfucker. But I said, oh, no, nigga. No, we ain't finna. I said, I got my notepad out. I still have my notes. I will send them to you. Well, I said, no, we'll touch on this because you mentioned it. You mentioned backdooring and who did what. So I'm going to ask you that question. And if it's true or not, which is true, I know who did what, bro. Right? I have more knowledge. See, I have a relationship with Tax Holloway. I have a relationship with Lil Jody, Cheddar Boy, Lil Baby, Real Lil Baby. I have a relationship with Tuff Teasy, right? I have a relationship with Cheese, Wipeout Son. We've talked about, from their perspective, what happened, the reason why it went wrong. I'm talking to living members of the Eastside Chedda Boyz once a week, a couple times a month. I can call them right now, they're gonna pick up and answer the phone. I interviewed Tuff 5 years ago, bro. He asked me not to put it out because he didn't want to stir up he didn't want to do
what we currently
what we're doing right now.
If you can't slide to your left a little bit, perfect.
Right? So he asked me not to put this shit out. I never put it out. I still have that interview. In the interview with Tuff, he talked about the history of what went wrong, what went right. He didn't discuss who shot who, or who did what to who, or who. He didn't even say who he thought did what. We was just talking about it's a misconception of, see, motherfuckers look at the street. The Streetlordz is a West Side rap crew. Blade Icewood not from the fucking West Side, bro. Streetlordz Wine is not from the fucking West Side. That's one of the biggest misconceptions. The Streetlordz with Yacht and Brick and them West Side niggas. So the origins of the Streetlordz is a West Side crew. But the two most important members of the crew are East Side niggas who migrated west. Right? And the issues that sparked between the Eastside Chedda Boyz and the Streetlordz, that's not no issue G-Rock had. G-Rock and Rook and them was just riding with their squad, but they didn't have no issue with Wipeout and Tuff Tone. That is true. The issues came with Juan, Blade, Wipeout, Tuff Teasy, right? And we know for a fact, by looking at previous interviews, that it was an issue with niggas felt some kind of way about the popularity or the reception the Eastside niggas got when they dropped that old boy and they gave their city shit. G-Rock even said it was egos, it was jealousy, it was motherfuckers feeling some kind of way. He talked about, Jesse James talked about how it was a 4-year gap between Streetlordz projects, and in that gap, this Eastside Chedda Boyz dropped and went crazy. Right? The whole story about Tuff Tone ran off with some work. Tuff Tone didn't run off with a motherfucking thing. The real tea is they was fucking the same bitch. It's always a bitch in the equation with these niggas who think they got money, power, fame, and all that other kind of shit. What happened between Blade and Tuff Teasy wasn't about no running off with no work. It was that Blade Icewood found out that Tuff was the same bitch he was fucking. And he went to pillow talking with the bitch. Right? But Tuff Teasy had the bitch mind. Blade didn't know that. So the bitch told Tuff, man, Blade said X, Y, Z about it. They had a relationship where they was moving and grooving together. He put it in the song. Say no secret, you ran off with the word. You blah, blah, blah. Listen, he didn't run off with shit. Blade was pillow talking. See, niggas don't want to talk about this shit because it's going to destroy the image that we have of these people. The truth can never be considered wrong. Blade Icewood was pillow talking with a bitch. The bitch told Tuff Tone. Tuff went over to the bitch's house and the bitch called Blade, right? Oh yeah, nigga Tuff trying to holler at me. And Blade was like, man, nigga broke, nigga work for me. Oh, that nigga ain't shit, that nigga a bum, blah, blah, blah. He worked for me, blah, blah, blah. Tone right there listening to the shit. That's what fucked up the love. It wasn't because and he didn't run off with shit. It's just that whatever understanding they had, Tone said, man, cause I ain't fucking with you no more, you cut off. That's what really happened, bro. So all this shit where the East Side niggas was jealous because the Streetlordz create that whole we bigger than the whole world image. That ain't what the fuck happened. And it's time for the truth to come out. And if I got to be the one who tells it, if I got to shoulder the responsibility of this shit, I'll take it.